Okay, let me see if we can fix the light. Yeah, that's better. Okay, let me ask you if you can hear me and see me as well. It's a little bit dark, but that's how it is. You know how it is. These live streams. That's what you get. But at least let me know if you can hear me. American Nordic, good to see you. Um, yeah, all good, wonderful, loud and clear, perfect. So I'm going to give it a few seconds until I get into the topic, and because I had this. I've been thinking about forgiveness, you know, lately. Now, it's quite interesting actually. As forgiveness is a concept that you will find in for instance in Christianity and so on. You don't find it in Norse paganism or Norse heathenism or Åsatru. So I'm not big on forgiveness. It doesn't really mean anything to me. But um, that's beside the point actually, because I'm going to ask you a question. Yeah, preparation, was that today? Well, today American time. Yeah, I understand. Yeah, now it's a very early morning here in Norway. I can I can I can tell you this. I woke myself up from anger at 4 a.m. I I woke up because I was so angry. Sometimes that happens, you know. But okay, yeah. So let's get into the topic here. And I'm going to say straight away that lots of people also now in the comments they say that forgiveness is a good thing. Valerie says freeze the forgiver, and so on. Now, as I said, in my belief system, forgiveness is not a good thing. It's not. And that goes against the more modern way of thinking about this. It's not a burden. On the contrary, not forgiving or not relating to that concept at all, it's not a burden. Many people seem to think that it really isn't. I sleep like a baby unless I wake up from the anger. And why was I so angry? Well, I'll tell you why. Um, I'll tell you why. There's a shift in the attitude in mainstream media now. And there was a Danish newspaper recently, they admitted that they had not been doing their job for the last 2 years when it comes to the plague, as I like to call it. Um, yeah, yeah. Merck, yeah, obsessed with avenging the family or tribe. It's a bit like that still. But Berserking in 2019 is there. Wow, wow, that's wonderful. Great donation. And I know you will understand. Good morning from Germany. Okay, yeah. Let me get into the My point here is this. Let's say you're in a relationship, married, boyfriend, girlfriend, something like that. And every day let's say your spouse or girlfriend or boyfriend, uh, when he or she comes home, he or she says to you, "You're an idiot." And that happens every day. Okay. For some reason, you just stay there. Okay. Now, stay with me here. Every day for 2 years, you're being called an idiot, right? And additional other names as well. You're being called stupid and a hazard to your surroundings, and so on and so on. And then after 2 years, that person suddenly says to you, "Well, maybe I was wrong calling you an idiot for 2 years." Do you forgive or not? So I guess you all know what I'm talking about here, because it's quite obvious now that within a few weeks, I believe, within a few weeks, maybe months, but I think weeks, we will see mainstream media changing their attitude. And they will even try to take credit for changing their attitude. They will pretend like what they now have discovered, they were the ones who discovered this, and they will try to take credit for everything, and they have no shame. I talked about this in my last video on my main channel, and and I believe this is what we will see, that Danish newspaper will not be the only newspaper or mainstream media outlet where we will see similar. So when that starts happening, what do you do? Now I'll tell you what I think. I'll tell you what I will do. I will never forget. I will never forgive. That's easy for me because it's so close to everything I believe in. As I said, I'm not big on forgiveness. It's a concept that doesn't really mean anything to me as a Norse heathen and so on. So it's easy for me. Revenge, on the other hand, means a lot. um, but I will never forget what they did. I will never forget that they lied. I will never forget that they shamed people, that they bullied people. And, it's like this is what I feel about these people. These journalists, we're talking about the journalists here, but they are obviously not the only ones who have been running the errands for big pharma. What I feel is that I wouldn't let's use a phrase that is not as rude as the one I was thinking about. I wouldn't pass water on them if they were on fire. And I will never trust them because it's like they shouldn't be trusted. They shouldn't be trusted to run any news outlet. I mean, these people, you know, they have no morals, no ethics. and they should be all fired. So that's how I feel about it. Because they've been like that abusive partner who called you an idiot for 2 years. And now they're suddenly going to say that, well, maybe I was wrong about you being an idiot. So I'm sorry that I called you an idiot for 2 years. Maybe let's just move on now, and we'll forget about all that stuff. So that's what I wanted to say. And I think a lot of you guys, you didn't trust them before. And I'll tell you what I think was the one thing that really woke people up when it comes to not trusting mainstream media. And that was one guy, the orange man, Trump. Yeah. Now, I'll tell you, I'll just say it. I was never a big fan of Trump. I must say I think his mannerisms, the way he was always talking about himself, it to me, I didn't like that. But I had to put my feelings for that person aside because that's not really what's important in, politics and so on. And objectively look at what he was doing as a president. And he was obviously doing a lot of good things for the USA. And also, I would add, for world peace, actually. And that makes the little fuses uh, short makes a shortcut in the little brains of mainstream media journalists when I say that. But he did a lot of good things, even for world peace. Now he made a lot of errors as well. He's a big. Um, he is a fan of the yeah in I yeah the in injections and all that. But um, even though I didn't like him, I had to put that aside, and I obviously he did a lot of good things now. But that's beside the point, actually, because what we're talking about here is mainstream media and how they failed to do their job. And I think it couldn't have been more obvious than it was during those years when Trump was president, because they failed every single day. It was like nothing he did was good, and everything he did was bad. And it was so biased that it was ridiculous. Ridiculous. So it really shouldn't be a surprise to anyone. Um, Thanks a lot for the donation, Wolf of Odin. Um, Thanks a lot. Not only will I ever forgive the MSM, I want them utterly eliminated. Yeah, I think actually they are in the process of doing that to themselves, right? And also just below there, Roderick, Trump is part of the problem. Yeah, I tend to agree. I tend to agree, but I'm not really talking about Trump here. I'm talking about how mainstream media revealed themselves during that presidency, because they failed every day being objective, and a journalist should be objective, actually, not subjective, not biased. So it shouldn't be a surprise to anyone that you know that they've behaved like they have behaved for the past 2 years. And it's so I know in some countries it's still very, very bad, but and this time I will say I hope I'm right. I often say I hope I'm wrong, but this time I really hope I'm correct. People like myself, lots of you guys, um, we have either, like me, not had any of these pokes in the shoulder, or you've been skeptical about the whole thing, um, and no longer will we be viewed as the idiots here. Let's not sink to that level, right? Calling other people idiots. So even though it's at times a little bit tempting, okay? And I know it's still bad. I know Wolf, thanks for the donation. Yeah, it's I can't read that, but it's just horrible. It's just horrible, and it's probably going to get worse before it gets better. I'm being positive now. You know, we need to sometimes, and again, I could be wrong, but at the moment, it looks like this facade can't be kept up for very long. You know, it's just not. I can't see how they can manage to do that. Okay. Um, Backwoods Barbarian. Thanks for the donation. Their narrative is crumbling. Yes, absolutely. And if people can't see it, it is because they choose, because they need daddy government to take care of them. Men like us want to be left alone. Exactly. Um, yeah. So I don't know. I'm just guessing, but from my part of the world here, looking out into the big world, you know, it looks like we're winning, and it looks like uh, we're not going to be called idiots for very long. So now let's see here. Let's see. Did I see all the super chats? Yes, I think I did. If you really want me to see your comment, you can give me a super chat because it pops up so that I will see it. That's obviously how YouTube also is making some money. They are taking a share of the super chats and everything I earn on here on YouTube. And Taz, thanks for the donation from Karmøy in Norway, that is. Okay. Um, yeah, and also this is not over. Okay. Yeah, I know. We all know this, but it's worth repeating this. It's not over. We need to hold the line, you know? We need to hold the line. And probably we will see some desperate attempts to force people to submit to rules, regulations, and all that. But what happens when some countries, when they are dropping rules, restrictions, and so on, you can see that from other countries. So if, you know, like in Norway, we will probably I think that the quarantine rules will go away in a couple of weeks, and I think they're pretty much going to give up on the old narrative. Um, the cases, that's just astronomical. We shouldn't trust those numbers necessarily, but it's just if you compare it to what it was, it's like many times more now. Um, I can't get into that in detail, of course. You know how it is, but interestingly, has Sweden is viewing Norway as a high risk country. So you can figure why. you know. Again, that's those topics. It's difficult to talk about here, but we'll see what happens. I'm hopeful now. Um, but of course, we can't go to Sweden, and I live close to the border. Can't go to Sweden. It's highly unpractical, and it's a big shame, of course. Um, CJ says, "Well, thanks a lot there." And yes, hold the line. Another note: how is your land prospects coming along? This is important. Well, that land I investigated. It's not suitable, so I'm still looking. um, okay, so Young Moses 777. Please try to focus on one thing, one physical thing right now. Okay? Don't snap. Just focus on one thing that brings you some joy. I don't know where you are, but you know, I don't know, but just focus on that one thing. Try to remember when you got that item, where, and try to build some kind of positive thinking from that. I can't really go into the details on how to snap out of that mindset that you appear to be having now, but try to focus your mind on one physical item. Okay? This will get better. Okay. I hope that helps. And try to talk with people. And Young Moses 777. I mean, maybe if you guys in the chat can say hi or something, maybe that helps. Um, so, okay. No alerts. I'm sorry about that. Sorry about that. Yeah, also it is important to take a break from all this, as I saw here just now in the chat. And for me, that means spending time out in the woods, um, lifting weights, and yeah, but especially spending time out in the woods. That's I enjoy that. You know how it is. Yeah, if you like this live stream and you want to hit the like button, that's always welcome. So this must be viewed as work, you know. Standing up to the tyrants, it's hard work, but you can't do it all day. you have to limit the time. Let's say you do that for a few hours every day, and then you can relax. Then you can you know go outside, do whatever, um, and think about other stuff. You know. So yeah, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Absolutely. So there will be people in the comments under this live stream saying that, well, I'm being too positive. But we tend to view things subjectively and from where we are. Now, it is important, and I understand that it's difficult to see how things are getting better if you are in one of the countries like, Austria, Australia, Netherlands. Um, I understand that, but please try to get a bigger perspective on things. And it helps. Yeah, Canada as well. You have this little obnoxious little man there. Um, yeah, I know. So try to view the positive things happening in other countries as positive for you as well, because I don't think that a so-called Western country can keep up a tyrannical kind of rule for very long if the rest of the Western world is not. That's maybe that's naive, but I really don't think it can work that way. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to end this live stream, and I'm going to go over to my main channel and do a members only live stream there. So I'm going to do that now. And I want to thank you all for joining the chat and just being part of this community. It means a lot. So, okay. Have a wonderful day or night, and we'll talk soon. Bye.